You and I have heard it for years. Go to college, get a degree, and you're set for life. But what if I told you that story is starting to fall apart? Bob Onder, a voice you should be paying attention to, says the 4-year college degree is losing its shine in today's job market. For decades, college for all was the golden ticket. But now, employers are changing the rules. Get this, almost 80% of employers say real-world experience matters more than that shiny diploma. Nearly half are about to ditch degree requirements completely. That's a massive shift. The old belief that a degree equals job readiness, it just doesn't hold water anymore. According to Bob, too many college grads are hitting the job market and falling flat. Basic skills like reading, writing, and math are slipping. And even folks with top technical knowledge, they're struggling, not because they don't know enough, but because they're missing the things that really matter: teamwork, problem solving, communication, and work ethic. Let's be real, it's not enough to just know stuff. You've got to work well with others, adapt when things change, and show up ready to deliver, day after day. That's why companies are dropping degree requirements and switching to skills-based hiring. They want proof you can do the job, not just a piece of paper saying you passed some classes. Bob points to something called Learning and Employment Records, LERs for short. Imagine your resume, but way better. An LER lists your actual skills verified by real-world experience. Take Maria, for example. Her LER shows off everything she learned in the military and on the job. Stuff you'd never see if you just looked at her degree. And here's the kicker. She owns her data, her talents, her record. But Bob's not blind to the risks. Privacy and data security have to be top priorities. The old laws, like FERPA, just aren't built for a digital world where your skills and experience live online. If LERs are going to work, especially for small businesses, they have to be simple, safe, and obviously worth it. Here's the bottom line. The workforce is changing, fast. Degrees are out, real skills are in. If you want to stand out, show what you can actually do. LERs just might be your ticket. If this kind of real talk about jobs in the future matters to you, hit subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching.
I would like to recognize my friend from Missouri, Mr. Onder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all the witnesses for coming before the subcommittee today. In this Congress, we've frequently discussed how college for all it has failed our society. Employers no longer value bachelor's degrees as much as they once did. 80% of employers value experience over education when evaluating job candidates. And recent surveys have shown that nearly half plan to eliminate bachelor's degree requirements. Many students graduating from 4-year colleges and universities are simply not prepared for the workforce as much as they ought to be. Not only have recent college graduates' reading, writing, and math skills declined, 78% of employers reported that having a candidate with strong technical skills, but performing poorly because of lacking so-called soft skills such as teamwork and problem solving and work ethic. So in many cases, credentials carry more meaning for employers. Learning and employment records can provide employers with a much clearer picture of an applicant's skills and whether they would be a good fit for the company. Mr. Kaplan gave a great example of Maria and how her LER boosted her hiring value. Maria's LER showed employers that she was far more qualified for a potential job than what her resume and educational background might have indicated. Her LER shows that she has a vast array of quantifiable competencies gained from her military experience and work experience. And the best part is that Maria owns all the data in her LER. However, one concern that we need to address that I'm sure has been touched on earlier in this hearing is the need to make sure that we have robust privacy protections in this system. Mr. Kaplan, what privacy and data security protections should be in place to ensure that Maria and millions other of Americans can feel comfortable and that their LER data won't be misused or abused or hacked?
So this is very similar to other kinds of technologies like this. You can think about medical records and the issues that we've had to work our way through to make sure that that system worked. I think that the core to solving this problem is, one, you have to engineer privacy into the infrastructure itself. And that means that the infrastructure has to ask questions and challenge and work on these protocols and standards that ensure that digital privacy is protected. People give informed consent when they use that information or when they share that information. Another thing I think that Congress should consider is we should step back and we should take a look at FERPA and FCRA, both of which have direct relevance to the use and sharing of this kind of information. Both of those requirements were written in a pre-artificial intelligence age, and I think it's going to be critical that we take a look at that regulatory framework and we update it to ensure that the kind of privacy and security protections that you're talking about are embedded from a regulatory perspective as well as from a legislative perspective.
And of course, to really unleash LERs potential, we need employer buy-in. Right now, many small businesses would be uncertain about how LERs might accommodate their human resource needs and their current talent acquisition strategy. They cite any number of technical, regulatory, and cultural barriers to the adoption of LER. Mr. Kaplan, what would you identify as the top barriers, and how can Congress help overcome those?
I think the top areas, and I think this is particularly important for small and medium-sized businesses, is frankly just simplicity of access. So I really support the state initiatives that are focused on overall economic and workforce development and the movement of the states in order to create these kind of systems, because most people work in small and medium-sized businesses. We need to make this really simple. And the good news is we can make it incredibly simple. So one is sort of that, let's make this system simple. Let's have the communities that are looking at these jobs really engaged in all of this happening. And then the other side of it is we have to show demonstrable value to employers that taking skills-based information through learning and employment record makes it cheaper, easier, and better for them, so they get better quality candidates that they can take a look at. They can get through the employment process quicker, and then when those people are in jobs, that they're more successful. So that's going to take some work, some time, but I think we understand how to go about it.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.